Do you feel weighed down by the attachments in your life, struggling to find true happiness? In this video, we'll explore the teachings of Miyamoto Musashi, a legendary samurai, to discover how letting go of these attachments can lead to a life of peace, freedom, and deep fulfillment. If you're ready to break free and embrace happiness, keep watching. Step 1. Understand impermanence. Life is full of things that change and disappear. Everything around us is always changing, including people, places, things, and even our feelings. Realizing that things change is the first thing that needs to be done to let go of ties. Musashi, whose life was full of challenges and changes all the time, really got this. He thought that holding to the temporary caused pain because it gave the impression of stability where there wasn't any. Living is flexible and always changing, and to understand change is to see it for what it is. With this knowledge, we can enjoy the present moment without trying to hold on to it. When we hold on to things, we often fight against the flow of life, which can be painful and frustrating. Musashi's life shows how to accept that things change over time. He didn't worry about losing anything and enjoyed each moment as it came and went. We can stop being afraid of change when we realize that nothing stays the same. But this doesn't mean we should be removed from life. Instead, it means we should be aware that everything is temporary. Being aware of this gives us peace and lets us enjoy life more without the weight of commitment. In real life, all you have to do to understand change is look around you. Pay attention to how the seasons change, your feelings and thoughts change, and events in your life come and go. Paying attention to these changes can help you let go of the need to control or hold on to things, because it helps you understand that things change over time. This change in viewpoint can free you up a lot, letting you live your life with less fear and more awareness. Musashi's teachings tell us that if we want to live fully, we have to accept that everything is temporary. We can let go of our ties and be happy in the present time if we do this. Step 2. Practice non-judgment. Watching things, feelings, or people without putting them in good or bad categories is called non-judgment. This step is very important for letting go of attachments, because the attachments we find hard to let go of are often caused by our opinions. When we think something is good, we want to keep it. When we think something is bad, we try to get rid of it. Attachment and pain come from both responses. In his lessons, Miyamoto Musashi stressed how important it was to see things as they really are, without making assumptions about them. He thought that the only way to really understand something is to have a mind that is free of assumptions and ideas that you already have. With this insight, we can go through life with knowledge and discernment, without the ties that come from judging others. Being mindful and self-aware are important for practicing non-judgment. It starts with just being aware of your feelings and thoughts without putting labels on them right away. For instance, if you feel angry, don't say that it's bad or wrong. Just notice it as it comes up. If you don't judge the feeling, you let it go through you without getting attached to it. This behavior also affects how we see other people. A lot of the time, opinions get in the way of our interactions and make them more difficult to connect with. We can make better, more genuine relationships with others if we go into conversations with an open mind and don't judge them. We can also let go of relationships that don't serve us anymore without feeling guilty or angry, which can happen when we make these kinds of choices. Musashi's ideas tell us to see things as they really are, not how we want them to be. To do this, we have to let go of our ego, which is where our opinions come from. The ego tries to classify and rule us, but in the process, it makes bonds between us. We can rise above our egos and live a more free and peaceful life by practicing non-judgment. Try to stop yourself every time you start to judge someone, something, or your feelings. Stop and ask yourself if this opinion is helping you or if it is making you feel attached. Over time and experience, not judging others will become a normal part of your being. This will help you let go of ties and find happiness in the simple act of accepting what is. Step 3. Detach from outcomes. A strong way to let go of ties and find happiness is to separate yourself from the results. Our happiness and sense of self-worth are often tied to how our work turns out, whether it's in our jobs, our relationships, or our personal goals. Because we can't control everything in life, this connection makes us feel stressed, anxious, and often let down. Miyamoto Musashi, who was very good at planning and discipline, knew how important it was to separate oneself from results in order to keep their inner peace and sense of purpose. The life of Musashi shows how important it is to focus on the process rather than the end result. He didn't care about winning his duels. He was more interested in the rules and techniques he had learned. Being detached from things helped him stay cool and collected no matter what, which was a big part of his success. He tells us that we can fully participate in the present moment and do our best without being held back by fear or hope when we let go of the result. Just because we don't care about the results doesn't mean we shouldn't have goals or ambitions. It actually means that we shouldn't put our happiness or sense of self-worth on whether we reach those goals or not. Focusing on the trip and the work we put into our projects can help us find happiness and satisfaction in the process, no matter what the end result is. In real life, this can be used by setting goals instead of exact results. One example is that instead of focusing on getting a raise at work, you should focus on doing your job well and getting better at it. You will feel good about yourself even if you don't get the raise. You will know you did your best. Musashi's lessons tell us that we can't always plan for what will happen in life. When we separate ourselves from these results, we'd free ourselves from the sadness and anger that come up when things don't go as planned. Being emotionally distant from things helps us deal with problems and handle whatever life throws at us with calm and ease. Take a step back and tell yourself of the bigger picture when you start to care too much about a certain result. Don't worry about what will happen. Just focus on what you can change: your deeds, your mood, and your effort. This change in how you think will not only make you feel less stressed and anxious, but it will also help you see new options and possibilities that you might not have seen if you were set on a certain outcome. Step 4. Simplify your life. Keeping things simple can help you let go of ties and find happiness. Sometimes, the world praises too much and too much detail. Miyamoto Musashi's lessons tell us that living a simple, focused life is stronger and clearer. Musashi had only the most important things in his life, both in terms of his things and the way he lived. He was able to keep his mind and heart strong because he didn't have to deal with the problems that come with having too much. Getting rid of the real mess in your life is the first step toward making it easier. Things can bring short-term happiness, but they can quickly become sources of stress and obsession. We have to take care of, protect, and think about more when we own more. You can make your space more peaceful and productive by getting rid of unnecessary things and keeping only what you need or what makes you happy. This simplicity includes your relationships and obligations as well as your things. There are a lot of responsibilities that many of us take on, often because we feel like we have to or because we don't want to miss out. But these promises can quickly turn into ties that drain our energy and keep us from focusing on what's important. You can feel less stressed and happier generally by cutting down on the number of tasks you have and focusing on the activities and relationships that are in line with your values and make you truly happy. Musashi's theory also tells us to keep our feelings and thoughts as simple as possible. Like our actual room, our minds can get crowded with worries, fears, and wants that aren't important. Focusing on the present moment and meditating can help you clear your mind and let go of unpleasant thoughts. When you keep your mind simple, you can approach life with more focus and purpose, without the distractions of ties that aren't necessary. In real life, simplifying your life could mean turning down social offers that don't fit with your values, getting rid of some of the things you don't need, or setting limits in your relationships to protect your time and energy. You might also need to narrow down your goals and concentrate on just a few important parts of your life, instead of trying to do too many things at once. Musashi's life shows how powerful simplicity can be. He became a master of his craft, not by getting more things, but by getting rid of the things that weren't important and focused on the things that were. By making your life simpler, you can make room for what really counts, which lets you to focus on your relationships, goals, and personal growth without the things that can get in the way that come with having too much. Being simple makes you feel at peace and happy, which makes it easier to let go of ties and enjoy the happiness that comes from living a life that is in line with your ideals. Step 5. Cultivate self-love. Loving yourself is the key to living a happy, full life. When we love ourselves, we build a strong sense of self-worth that doesn't depend on other people's approval or things we own. We can let go of ties more easily when we have this inner strength because we no longer need them to feel whole or important. Miyamoto Musashi knew how important it was to know and value oneself because he was very self-disciplined and masterful. Musashi always thought about himself and tried to get better. He thought that real power came from inside and that a person's worth wasn't based on what they had or what they accomplished. Because he trusted and respected himself, he didn't care what other people thought or what material things existed. Instead, he focused on his own growth and success. We can learn to love ourselves and find happiness within ourselves instead of looking for it outside by following his lead. Start by being kind to yourself if you want to love yourself. Be kind and patient with yourself the way you would with a close friend. This means letting go of your past mistakes, recognizing your strengths, and accepting your flaws without judging them. Self-compassion helps you have a good relationship with yourself, which is important for letting go of ties that come from fear or self-doubt. A good set of limits is another important part of loving yourself. You know how important it is to take care of your time, energy, and mental health when you value yourself. You might have to say no to people or events that drain you or limit how much you give to other people. Setting limits helps you show that you value yourself and keeps you from getting hooked to bad relationships or responsibilities. Musashi's lessons also stress how important it is to love yourself by being disciplined. You show respect for yourself and your life by sticking to habits that are good for your physical, mental, and emotional health. This could mean doing things like meditating, working out regularly, or doing things that make you happy and fulfilled. Being self-disciplined can help you become strong and tough enough to let go of ties and live a true to yourself life. It's important to remember that loving yourself isn't about being perfect or having all the answers, that you should accept yourself completely, flaws and all, and know that you deserve love and happiness just the way you are. When you love yourself deeply, you depend less on other people to make you feel good about yourself. This makes it easier to let go of ties and find true happiness within yourself. Step 6. Forgive and let go of resentment. Forgiving someone is a strong way to let go of ties, especially ones that are tied to hurts and grudges from the past. When we hold grudges, they tie us down to bad feelings and stop us from getting on with our lives. A man of honor and discipline named Miyamoto Musashi knew that holding on to anger only gets in the way of our growth and peace of mind. If someone has hurt us, we don't have to agree with their acts or forget what happened in order to forgive them. Instead, it's about letting go of the mental grip that the past has on us so that we can move on with our lives. Musashi's ideas show us that the only way to be truly strong is to be able to let go of things that don't help us, like the anger and sadness that come from hurting others in the past. Recognizing the hurt and pain you've been through is one way to start the process of forgiving. Feelings are important, and you should be aware of how the situation has affected you. But it's also important to know that hanging on to this pain will only make it last longer. When you choose to accept, you let go of the past and let healing and happiness happen. Letting go of the need for revenge or retaliation is also part of practicing forgiveness. This doesn't mean you have to make peace with the person who hurt you. It just means you're not going to let their actions control your feelings or your life anymore. The lessons that Musashi taught us tell us that real fighters are not motivated by anger, but by a desire for peace and a sense of work. Freeing ourselves from anger lets us follow our own way with power and clarity. It's not always easy to forgive, and you might need some time to let go of your anger. Mindfulness and meditation can help you feel more at peace and open to your surroundings. These techniques help you be aware of your feelings without letting them take over. This makes it easier to let go of the ties that are holding you back in the past. It's important to forgive yourself as you work on forgiving other people. We often feel bad about the mistakes we've made, which can make us stuck in old habits that keep us from moving on. Musashi's theory tells us that we should think about ourselves and learn from our mistakes instead of dwelling on them. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself from the weight of the past and can grow and change. So, forgiving someone is a way to free yourself. It sets you free from anger and lets you look forward to a future full of peace, joy, and happiness. Being free of the things that have held you back in the past means that you can start over and live a life without those things. Step 7. Focus on personal growth. The last step on the way to letting go of ties and finding happiness is to grow as a person. Focusing on our own growth takes our attention off of ties to other people and onto our own potential. Miyamoto Musashi spent his whole life trying to master himself. He knew that growing as a person is a lifelong process that leads to great happiness and a sense of purpose. A big part of Musashi's life was his constant drive to get better. He thought that the only way to truly master something was to keep learning and be disciplined. By working on our own growth, we can develop traits like resilience, knowledge, and self-awareness that help us find inner peace and happiness. Focusing on growth helps us let go of things that don't serve us anymore because we know that our true worth comes from inside us, not from outside things. To work on your own growth, you should first make goals that are clear, important, and in line with your values and hopes. In both your personal and business life, these goals should push you to grow and change. By working toward these goals, you give your life meaning and direction, which can help you let go of things that are holding you back. Musashi's lessons also stress how important it is to be disciplined and practice in order to grow as a person. If you want to learn a new skill, get healthier, or learn more about yourself, you need to put in constant work and commitment. It not only helps you reach your goals, but it also gives you the inner strength and grit you need to handle life's obstacles with poise and drive. Self-reflection is another important part of growing as a person. Musashi did a lot of deep thinking about himself. He was always judging his choices and actions to learn from them. When you think about your life on a daily basis, you can learn a lot about your skills and flaws, as well as the things that may be holding you back. To let go of what doesn't serve you anymore and welcome the growth that comes from change, you need to be self-aware. Developing an open and curious mind is also an important part of personal growth. Are you ready to try new things, look into new ideas, and leave your comfort zone? Being open-minded helps you keep learning and growing throughout your life, keeping you from getting stuck on fixed views or old ways of thinking. Musashi's life shows how important it is to be flexible and keep learning, as he was always trying to get better at things and learn more. At the end of the day, remember that progress is a process, not a goal. There will always be fresh problems to solve and fresh chances to grow. Take this trip with an open mind and a sense of adventure, knowing that each step brings you closer to your full potential. By working on your own growth, you can let go of ties and find happiness as you become the best version of yourself. Finding happiness and letting go of ties is a path that takes time, self-awareness, and a dedication to personal growth. By following Miyamoto Musashi's lessons, we can learn to live with purpose and focus without being tied down by things that aren't important. On this road, it's important to understand that things change. Practice not judging others. Separate ourselves from results. Keep our lives simple. Love ourselves. Forgive others. Let go of anger. And focus on personal growth. Musashi's life shows us how to be strong and at peace when we let go of things that don't serve us anymore and live in the present with an open heart. You can live a life of satisfaction, happiness, and inner peace by following these rules. You can let go of the ties that used to hold you back. Enjoy the trip and remember that what makes us truly happy is not what we hold on to, but what we are ready to let go of.